going on, Hobby Lobby? So apparently I was on vacation and Candace Owens came out with a trailer called The Greatest Lie Ever Told, George Floyd and the Rise of Black Lives Matter, BLM. And I just kept seeing it on my feed. It just kept coming. I saw people doing reaction videos to it and I just was like, well, I'm not going to check it out because I want to see it on a video, give my initial reaction so everybody else can see it along with me and see what I'm thinking about it. Now, I will say, The Greatest Lie Ever Told seems to be a little bit of clickbait. That's my first impression. That says nothing about Candace Owens, but we live in the real world. And it's just a fact that sometimes you got to make catchy titles if you want people to buy or subscribe or whatever the case may be. Now, we're going to get into this actual trailer and I'm going to check it out for myself and see where it goes. So stay tuned.
1 in a million to one villain. Too hot to be in the kitchen, I'll end up melting the ceiling.
Alright, let's not waste any time. Let's jump right into it and see exactly what this trailer is about.
Marking, 5, take 1.
This was the second time he exhibited that behavior, 11 months earlier.
Mark.
I've never been so hurt inside.
Mike's back here, you want to see?
And even as I'm speaking to you right now, it's starting to come back.
This is an autonomous zone.
23 out of 24 hours in this cell. No TV, no magazines, no books, no nothing.
So anytime a customer brings a counterfeit bill, and you see we have plenty of them, we tell them, hey, this is counterfeit. If the customer insists, then we call the police.
How did you feel watching the trial?
I thought it was a sham.
All right, so I just want to start it with just you stating your name for the record, as well as your professional background.
Okay, so I'm already halfway through the video, right? And it's clear exactly this is more of a documentary type style video. And apparently Candace Owens is going to be walking around. She's going to be interviewing different people who had some association with the George Floyd case, whereas it might be somebody who was directly involved or somebody who might have had some ties to him or ties to the community or somebody involved in the investigation in some shape, form, or fashion, right? And I'm just going to say so far I'm not convinced this is the greatest lie ever, but let's go.
I have been a police officer in the state of Minnesota for almost 4 decades.
Forensic criminologist and certified medical investigator and police practices expert.
Yeah, some good moments here. It's like we lived together almost, I guess, it was about 4.5 years, almost 5 years.
So you guys, in many ways, were some of the people that were the closest to him. And I don't remember seeing your faces on the news or anybody talking to you, so I guess let's just start with that. You guys knew him best, so who was George Floyd?
She's right. We haven't told our side of the story. Maybe it's time for us to tell our story, you know?
Coming May 2022. All right, thegreatestlie.com. All right, y'all. So I'm going to give my original thoughts on this because, all right, y'all might not like what I'm about to say here, but I think this documentary is completely pointless. And I think right now we're beating a dead horse. I don't think anybody's mind is going to be changed at this moment concerning the George Floyd case. Let's be honest now. Many people who went to the George Floyd rallies, the protests, the riots, the looting, many of those people are not going to even care about this film, let alone watch it and change their minds. But this film, I'm going to be honest, is directly for conservatives who already are skeptical of the George Floyd case or want to see something that validates or changes their perspective on exactly what went down, but it's not really going to change anything. It's not really going to open any eyes that's been closed or people who are closed off to the information. Now, does that say that she shouldn't make it? No, that doesn't mean anything. Sometimes you want things to come to the light and let it be documented on the record for future generations and people to come back and see what was going on at the time and what was the full story surrounding an event that completely shook the world and had people protesting in countries all around the world, and that literally had people saying things like George Floyd sacrificed himself for us, Nancy Pelosi, whatever the case may be. But I just don't necessarily see this as being a productive production. And the reason I say that is, for one, Candace Owens is not a journalist. She's not a journalist. And at least she's never passed herself off as a journalist. And if she's getting into journalism, more power to her. Hopefully she does a good job balancing the difference between political versus actually trying to get to the facts and reporting everything that matters. So I hope in this documentary she talks to people who have a different perspective on the George Floyd case. And before you get to the point of saying, well, we already heard the other side of the story, we need to hear this side of the story. Point blank, period. There are many sides of many stories that people don't always get access to. And if you're going to make a documentary about anything, I think it's fair that you do it balanced and fair. Now, here's the thing. Many people, believe it or not, have pretty much moved on from George Floyd. There's no more riots and looting and violence going on in the name of George Floyd at this moment. There's not. So the fact that they're making a documentary about it now, I really just, if anything, it might just open up old wounds at the most. But I think that this is a very good gig for Candace Owens because it deals with race, something that she's heavily involved with. Mostly that's her big stick, and it'll allow her to get viewership. And I don't have any problems with the Daily Wire per se or Candace Owens, but at some point I feel like why are we doing this? Why? I completely forgot about George Floyd. I'm gonna be honest. We covered it while it was hot and while it was going on, and then people move on. And many situations like this, people get angry and upset. People do dumb things, and people go around talking about change. And then fast forward a year later, most people go on about their lives and they forget all about it. And I just think that's the most of it. This trailer was not really that intriguing. It didn't really bring me into the fold and make me want to see the actual film. I'm pretty sure many people will watch it, but at the same time, as a conservative, I just don't see the necessity of this. I really don't. And I don't see what the whole shock and the whole woo about it is. People going out doing the reactions and people are, whatever people want to put behind it. But I'm just not convinced. And all I think that is this is a way of making more money and, kicking a dead horse and really adding fuel to a fire that is nearly almost died out at this point. I think that there are bigger issues to focus on and things that we should be fighting for. And going back to analyze the whole situation of George Floyd isn't going to change anything. I doubt that this documentary is going to overturn Derek Chauvin's conviction or play any role in it. It might get people who are already looking for something to question more or to validate a position they already hold. But that's about it. I don't see much more coming from this. And I say this from a hopeful perspective. I'm an optimist on this situation because I think Candace Owens has challenged a lot of narratives and she has opened a lot of eyes and she has pushed back against the mainstream narrative about black people in America, and people have been doing it before her. Thomas Sowell has been around for a very long time, so it's not anything new, but she is a black woman, which offers more appeal to a lot of people, and she has a lot of spice, and people like to see a black woman on the conservative side doing a lot of spicy, in your face, pushing back. And look, maybe we're better off for it, but I'm just saying that this documentary, I don't find it intriguing, and I don't think that it's something I'm going to watch personally. And if you're going to watch it, go for it. And if you're mad at me, I'm just telling the truth, and that's what I'm always going to do. I'm going to be honest, and that's all I can be. With that being said, tell me your thoughts. Do you disagree with me? Do you agree with me? Are you going to watch it? What are your thoughts on it? Leave it down in the comment section below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like button while you at it. And don't forget to subscribe and join the Hobby Lobby today. With that out of the way, peace and glory, everybody. Be peaceful and be great. Till next time, I'm out.
1 in a million to 1 villain. Too hot to be in the kitchen, out in the melting the